Oof. Okay, I can't fix the rest of it, so what is the YOLO list? I. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Yeah, it's that time of the year again, it turns out. Today we'll be ooh, that's not the right button. Today we'll be talking about this, the big... Ooh, that's not the right button either. Excuse me. Just give me 1 second. There we go, the big O. I don't know why I'm doing this in Affinity Designer, don't ask me. We'll be fine. Big O, there we go. And what does the big O stand for? Obviously it stands for Omicron. You guys can hear me. We did the pre-show. Don't even lie. Omicron. There we go. There's no stabilizer. I don't need a stabilizer. There we go. Okay. So why is this being pulled? I shouldn't be using acrylics. Let's do this. Oops. Why am I so bad? I'm so bad because if I weren't bad, you would be sad, right? If I weren't bad, like we talk about this a lot, but if I'm not bad, if I'm not a terrible, like, useless person, then you wouldn't feel all of the schadenfreude that you're feeling right now. Therefore, make you more sad, right? Oh, I forgot what exact mutation Omicron was. Let me just look this up real quick. Omicron mutation number B11529. B1152. Why is this stupid? This is stupid. This shouldn't be this stupid. Pace, opacity, variant, body, corners overlap. There we go. Hopefully that works. Look at that, it stabilizes itself when I don't ask for stabilization. That's weird. Well, doesn't matter for today. Yeah, maybe I should have figured out how this would go, right? No. But again, then again we come back to this whole idea of, if I did, then it would be terrible, right? Anyway, so let's start with a virus. This is just a happy little COVID-19. You know, it's doing its thing. Oh, hello? What are those little things on the side? Doesn't matter. There we go. It's just a happy little COVID-19. It's just hanging out, you know, in someone's lungs. Maybe in the lungs. Oh, actually, interestingly enough, before we continue with this, there is a case of COVID-19 being seen in deer now, and in deer of such an extent that there is a call. I think this is in Midwest of the U.S., where the deer are actually quite deeply infested with COVID-19, and they're all over the place. Right, and so, like, if you go to a zoo in North America, I think there are lots of places where they say please wear a mask because the animals, obviously, they can't, right? Well, and it's true, these things do cross species. This is how we get SARS. This is how we get COVID-19. Well, technically SARS-CoV-2, right, which is COVID-19, and MERS, you know, all of the flus, swine flus, avian flus, all of that is because they were developed in other species and then they jump onto humans. And how, right? I guess we should have talked about this. Right, let me write this down. Shape. This is crazy. This pen is stupid. Why is it like that? Let's try this. There we go. No, it's still trying to do that for me. Why? Shape-based study. Do you guys see that as well? Like whenever I draw this, if I let go, it like yes. You just want to see me complain. Let's see if this works. So this does kind of. That's with the stabilizer. Okay. So maybe we'll do this. We'll do this at let's go to like 12. Oh, 12 is too much. 3, 1. Excellent. Okay. No, you're right. Yes. Thank you to our administrator for correcting my failures over and over again. So let's take a look at this bad boy, shall we? Let's take a look at that bad boy. What it is. Will today be short? Yes, I hope so. I certainly hope so. What that bad boy is, he actually looks, or she, well, okay, it looks like something like this. I'm not drawing this based on some sort of innate understanding of coronaviruses, because that's obviously not what I yes, because that is racist, okay? I don't say that you're more susceptible to stupid just because. No mind. We're not going to go down this route. Let me just remove this. I need to draw it in a slightly different way to make it slightly more readable by when we actually get to it. Where's my? Okay. So let's say it looks like this, right? Just for simplicity's sake, it has a shape of this, right? And this might be the original COVID-19. Oh wait, what did I just do? Do that, do this, COVID-19, and then let's copy and paste this entire thing. Let's call this one. I need my keyboard here. There we go. Let's call this one. Doesn't matter. Let's call this one Delta. Oh wait. In back. Let's call this one Delta, right? And so, what happened between Delta and COVID-19 is probably it got a little bit better at infecting people, but also it became more infectious, and because suddenly this thing has evolved this new part, which will color like that in pink. Yes, that's the right color for Delta, right? It added this part in pink, and that made it more infectious. And then there's some pink stuff that's happening within the virus itself. And that probably also made it more infectious. But yeah, so it's all about the shape, right? Let's have let's draw the back of a cell. Just so. Let's call this the human cell. Just have a line over there, and on the human cell, let's say there are these things that look like this. A little bit of cutout there. Oh, I don't have an eraser here. I should have used the other program. Oh, that's annoying. Too late now. Can I select that? No. No, I can't select that. No. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, why do I deliberately make it more difficult for myself? So this doesn't change. This is well, it doesn't actually matter what this is on the human cell. It's that there is something that matches here, but suddenly with delta, it matches even better, right? Now, oh, I should have. How did you know I was gonna talk about that? Yes, exactly. I don't have an eraser. Let's use white. There we go. There we go. It doesn't matter. You guys, none of you are listening anyway. Well, it's true. They're mostly like talking amongst themselves, talking about Christmas plans. Don't think I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, there's nothing you guys can say that escapes my eyes. All right. Anyway, so that goes away. Let's move that away. I don't think Omicron actually has Delta's patch. So we'll do this, and then do this. Anyway, so even from the basic shape, I think it's very obvious that there we go. I don't know what you're talking about, all right? I have no idea what you're talking about. And so I mean, yes, exactly. We've talked about this before. So like I don't even know why you guys need me to talk about this again, but it was sponsored, so we'll talk. Oops. We'll talk about it again, you know? It is what it is. Do that, and this is a big O. Coincidentally, Greek Omicron is just O, right? So it's big O, small O, whatever. It's all just O. And so big O, let's say, it is able to fit in here much better than Delta can fit into this spot. Where's Delta? Delta is here. Then Delta can fit into this spot. Let's say Delta fits in like this, right? So you see that there's a little bit of a gap in between where Delta fits in and blah blah, and so, but Omicron fits perfectly, and that means this Omicron is much better able at attaching itself to cells than Delta is. Now, okay, give me 1 second. We will talk about that actually, because that is a good point, and you just have to give me 1 second while I sort this part out. This to be 3100. This to be 3000. Excellent. Okay. And oh no, not like that. I want this to be locked. We'll have a new layer. New layer. All of that goes in there, and that gets locked. Excellent. Okay. Okay. So stats, right? That's what we wanted to say. Stat. Hello. Stats. So far, what we know about Omicron, because this is important. There are 3 studies. That is ridiculous. Look at that. Why is there stabilization on this? Variance, stroke, pole, overlap. It didn't used to do this. That's why I chose Affinity Designer. Maybe I should just, yes, maybe I should just type it. Ugh, okay. So we'll type it. That's fine. That's fine. Hi, IK, how are you doing today, my friend? I don't want to get to that. Can you imagine if we get to like Omega variant? That'll be great. That'll be the actual end. What happens if we run out of Greek letters? I wonder. Maybe we'll go to like we should go to Cyrillic characters. Main studies in the UK. So 3 main studies in the UK. What have they shown? All good news, interestingly enough. Wow, why am I sitting at 50? Let's go to 20. Yeah, so 1. Oh, 20 is really big still. Let's do 10. That's too small. Excellent. 1, Scotland. I only remember 2 studies from the UK now. Oh, no. Okay, 1 from Scotland. That says, what was it, 40? No, I need to look this up. Hieroglyphs. I would love it if we did end up doing hieroglyphs. Oh, I just got onto the Bloomberg website, and it was talking about the COVID-19 arbitrage. Oh, that is perfect. I love that. Okay. That's the South African one. Where are the cases? Hold on, I read this article earlier today. Yes. Ooh. So let's do this. There's no way I can beat you at Go? Why is that? Have you practiced a lot? Oops. I don't mind. Actually, I don't mind playing with you someday. I just wish I had the time to. Yes. Okay. So this is great news, right? So in the first case, we have in the first place we have 2/3 lower risk of hospitalization and 10 times more likely to infect. This, even though it looks like it is great news, right? Because it's great news individually. But when we talk about statistics, things are less clear. But it's still overall generally good news, because that means more people that get it are less likely to die from it, right? So even though there are more people that get it, the average death rate is going to be lower, but that doesn't mean the absolute value of cases are going to be lower. And that's the problem. And that's the problem that we're facing now, and the problem that governments are trying to really address. I'm not going to say in the UK. 3 main studies. Let's set that to 20. There we go. Yeah. So essentially the point is that it's basic mathematics, right? Even though less people are dying, if 10 times more people are getting it, even though your death rate, your hospitalization rate is only 33%, if 10 times more people get it than before, then you are still 33% multiplied by 10, you're still 300% higher hospitalization rate than before, right? Like it's fundamental mathematics, right? Like let's write this out. 2/3 times 10 is equal to 20/3. No, that's ridiculous. it's 1 over 3 is equal to 10 over 3, and that equals 9.33. I'm tired. Yes, and so essentially what this is saying is that okay, first of all, I'm exhausted. Right, so we have the 10 from here, and 2/3 lower risk means 1/3 in hospital. There we go, and that's why we get to 1/3 now, and that's why we get to 10 over 3, therefore 3.33, right? So we are, if this Scottish study is true, we are getting essentially 3 times more people in hospitals, but we're getting lower amount of people per capita, right? So per 1,000, per 10,000, whatever amount of patient of people being infected, we're getting less of them into the hospital. Unfortunately, if we get just an absolute number more people in, then that's going to be a problem. So, second piece of statistic. Why are there such differences? That's an excellent question. Let me just paste this in, and then we can talk about that, because that is actually a very insightful question that we should talk about. Why is this tabbing? Stupid. Oh, come on. I can't. Just talk amongst yourselves while I deal with this. There we go. Okay, so this says something slightly different, right? So this is less likely to be hospitalized, which is what? This is 1 over 5 versus 2 over 3. It's close. It's not exactly the same. Sorry, 1 over 5 versus 1 over 3. There we go. That makes slightly more. It's more an apples to apples comparison. Why is it different? So a lot of things: demographics, diet, physical health. Like, remember, these are Scottish people, right? And so, on average, Scottish people are older, fatter, and more sedentary than South Africans. And what are the 3 more comorbid factors, right? 1 is age for COVID-13. 2 is weight. And 3 is lifestyle. So if the Scottish population is older, fatter, and more sedentary than the South African one, you would expect more of them to suffer from this. Now, having said that, we're not actually seeing this in old people just yet. Hold on to that thought, because Christmas is coming, right? And that's that's an unfortunate problem. Well, yeah, right? Because Christmas is coming, and Christmas is unfortunately going to be a spreading event. There's nothing that we can do about that. Remember something else, right? In the US, we've not really recovered from the last wave yet. Like, there are hospitals that are burning down to the ground and that are burning through staff because COVID has overwhelmed them, and that has not gone away. That is still a thing. Right, like we didn't come down from a wave in the US. The wave never left. The wave has just left the airwaves. The wave has left the news cycle, but it hasn't left the population. Right, and that's the problem. So for hospitals that are already overwhelmed, what will happen? We'll see post-Christmas. Honestly, that's all I got, right? I think the last one is from Imperial College. Let me just double check. Oh, why can't I find it? Yes. Oh, it doesn't give me the. Imperial College. There we go. ICL. There we go. Okay, let's have the third one down here. Is this my alma mater? I won't confirm or deny it. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. That's all there is to it. I will say this: I like ICL. It's nice. It's a nice place to be. We're almost half as likely to need an overnight hospital stay, and so what that means is 50%, right? Like there is 1/2, right? So again, like this is working with a slightly larger data set, and so you are going to get a higher variation. You're going to get a higher standard deviation in this data, but it takes in a lot more considerations in this data. So essentially conclusions, right? Let's have some conclusions here for the bottom line. Let's call it the bottom line. Yes. 15. Omicron is less deadly but more infectious. This is good news for the individual. Bad news for overwhelmed healthcare systems. Right? Like we've literally just talked about all of this. Mortality rates will individual mortality rates will lower while population rates increase, and we can literally call onto this and just do that, right? Essentially, if we use the Scottish numbers as a representation of slightly less healthy, more sedentary and fatter population, and if we project that onto, say, for example, America, we might see a threefold increase in hospitalizations, even though more people per capita infection, right? Like out of those that are infected, more people might recover, but the absolute number of people that are dying might increase still. And that is, unfortunately, that is beyond our control, right? Yeah, so what can you do to protect yourself? Wear masks. Take the rapid tests that Joe is offering you. Don't think that those tests contain artificial microchips that will no. Well, no, I know nobody in the server actually believes that, but yeah, in general, exercise caution. Really, the same thing as last year. Honestly, like if you stay away from big crowds, you're less likely to be infected, right? If you wear a mask, don't wear single layer cloth masks because they're useless. Well, okay, so let me draw out a single layer cloth mask. Right, this is a single layer cloth mask. Let's get a nice pink going. And so this is just something in the air, and once it's passed, right? That's what that happens. But if you have a double layer cloth mask, your holes are never going to align properly. And if you have 3 layers, oh my god, look. It's like magic. They simply, like, once you have, the more layers you have, the easier it is for you to stop something that crosses that particular barrier. That is just fact, and there's no way around that, right? So let's say in our hypothetical virus, it's going to get in here. It might try to squeeze through like this, but then bloom, it gets caught. It gets caught. And that's the point. That's why you take N95 masks. As an aside, N95 is equal to filter out 95% of particulates. And that's all there is to it, right? Like, wear your N95s if you have to be inside with people less than 2 meters away. Wear your N95s if you have to absolutely take them off. Get everyone to take a test before you do, right? Like, especially for you guys, because a lot of you are old and slightly more sedentary. Yes, I am calling you old. That's because you are old. Like, you can feel young at heart all you want. COVID doesn't care. Nature doesn't care. Your lungs are old, right? Like, some of you have been smoking for what, like 30, 40 years. Like, it's just how else do I explain this? Yes, you should definitely take the test. Have everyone take the test before you come together, because it is. I would consider. I would. I gay. I would consider, anyway, back to the point. I would consider anyone who doesn't take a COVID-19 rapid antigen test prior to meeting family, I would consider that still involuntary manslaughter, right? And that, I think, means a lot more to people in the Discord than it does to the general public, but that's fine. It is involuntary manslaughter, or you want to go up to direct manslaughter for all I care, right? Because especially if you choose not to, because then you are actually like spreading something that is deadly, knowing it, right? Obviously, like, if you don't know whether you have COVID or not, why not just let yourself be tested? If you choose not to be tested because you don't want to know whether you have COVID or not, then I think that is on you. It was a prank. Can you imagine if COVID-19 was actually a prank from like a bunch of raccoons, and they accidentally unleashed it on humans in the Anyway, that is all I have to say today. Yes, yes. No, let me re-highlight these points. All right, let's. You make a good point. This is good news for the individual, less likely to die. Bad news for overwhelmed healthcare systems. Oops. Right, like, so yeah, I think if you're worried about your personal health, you can relax a little bit, because it does mean that oh, actually, let me just double. I do want to talk about this real fast. Where is it? Where is it? Oops. There we go. Move all of that over to, what is it, 6200. There we go. And then delete all of that. Let's call it location. So we're going to quickly talk about where it's going. So let's say we have this nice little person, you know, and he's airway, lungs. We're not going to worry about secondary effects of COVID, where it goes into the bloodstream and all of that. That's not important right now. Let's do SARS-CoV-2. We'll do something like, what was Delta? Just double check. Delta was pink. This is Delta, and Omicron was blue. That's right, and Omicron. Right, so big differences. Most of SARS-CoV-2 and the originals, COVID-19 and Omicron and Delta, would get into the lungs and infect the lungs and the alveoli within the lungs, and that's what made it so deadly. Whereas, luckily for us, or luckily for some of you lot, Omicron is mostly here. Interestingly enough, actually, let me write this down. Interestingly, this actually means that Omicron is less deadly because it doesn't shut down the lungs, right? Like, because remember, all of what Delta and the original did was it required people to be put on respirators and to actually like force air into their lungs. So yeah, and so that's actually what made it so deadly. Omicron mostly infects the upper airway, but that's also what makes it, and this is a big stinky bottom, yes, that's what makes it more infectious, right? But oh, that's in black. 15 unbolded. This is what makes it more infectious. Upper airway. So when Omicron, when infected cells die, they release viral particles into the upper airway, which then is coughed out into the air, which means higher viral load in the air, right? So yeah, I almost forgot to talk about this. So what this means is that Omicron can come out of you very, very quickly, and that's why it has a doubling time of doubling time 1 to 3 days, right? Like, this is something we've never seen before with Alpha, with Delta, because they were so deeply entrenched. They were so deeply entrenched in the alveoli. And actually, let me just do this. Alpha and Delta were entrenched in, let's call it wet alveoli. More difficult for them to generate droplets that can be spewed into the air. Therefore, Omicron has much higher ability to generate viruses. Right? So again, this once again highlights the absolute need for masks. Because if this is true, what am I saying? If this part is true, then masks are the first and last line of defense, and a good mask will be the difference between the higher viral load being able to get to you and not, right? So wear your N95s. I would always suggest wearing 2 masks. One nice multi-layered cotton mask, and one N95 for the simple reason that the cloth mask generates a much better moisture barrier in your upper respiratory tract. And that means you have a much better ability. Your throat has a much better ability to catch the viral particle and pull it into your stomach, where it's going to get dissolved by the stomach acid, as opposed to it being able to reach the inner lining of your throat, right? So cloth mask, I'll type this out, yes. Cloth mask generates better moisture. Like, you want that extra moisture. Excuse me. In respiratory tract, captures viruses instead of letting them infect, right? So that's the benefit of a cloth mask. Oops. That's literally what I'm saying. Yes. Boy, weren't you listening? That's why you wear two, yes. Or rather, that's why I wear two, right? N95 mask. More viral particles, not letting them into lungs in the first place, right? So again, if you can double up a mask, if you have to go and see somebody, I appreciate that it makes it more difficult to breathe. Absolutely, 100%. I will not deny that. What would you prefer? Right? Infection or not infection, right? Like, get your booster shot and then you can go French kiss random people on the street for all I care. But last until your booster shot, because that is important, right? Oh, we haven't talked about booster shots. How much time do I have left? We have 2 minutes. Okay. Booster shot. Necessary but not sufficient. On older antigens, not fully recognizes Omicron. Right? I think this makes more sense if we take this and we talk about. Hold on. I'll have a yellow one here. So it's for that reason, because the shape is different, right? So it doesn't fully recognize Omicron, but it still does recognize some parts of it, and so therefore, do it. Third shot raises effectivity to, I can't remember how much it was. At least in the States, just get your third shot. It makes a dramatic difference. Doubles. Doubles what? Effectiveness. Get your shots. Here, don't you guys like stuff bolded? I know you guys like stuff bolded. Actually, I know I did a presentation with one of you, and oh yes, exactly, yes, our friend who just spoke up, this man is the worst man at making presentations. I don't even know how you managed to get into your position, because all he could talk about during the entirety of us making that presentation together was, make sure you bold it, bold that, no, bold that, bold that, bold that, don't bold that, bold that. That's literally all this man said for like 3 hours straight. Just just like, dude. Anyway, Are we clear on this? Does this make a lot of sense? It makes sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, we can talk about it more in the future. But yeah, that's it. Any final questions before we end it here for tonight? No, that's not a question. No, that's not a question either. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, okay, that's fine. We'll do that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, you're definitely free to come talk to me about this. My channels are always open. If I'm not there, one of our administrators usually is there. When will Apple Silicon Mac Pro be released? That's actually a good question, IK. I think, if not 2022, I think 2023 based on the M2 chip. Because I think they're still having trouble generating proper pro level CPU performance with the M1 Max, right? Because the M1 Max does very good graphics, but it doesn't, like, it's like the CPU performance between the M1 Max and the original M1 is basically the same-ish, give or take. We will definitely, though, see iMac Pros come next year. Or, yeah, iMac Pros based on the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. That I can guarantee, and we'll probably see that in spring, I think, because they'll be spreading the M2 chips in the fall. So yeah, I would. Yeah, so single core, multi-core CPU. I don't think the M1 Max is that much better than the M1 because yes, multi-core, if you're talking about graphic cores, absolutely. I actually have a MacBook Pro 16 with the M1 Max, and absolutely, like, that certainly beat the M1 Pro M1 MacBook Air that I traded in terms of graphics. But in terms of CPU, it's like a 10-20% increase. It's not that big. Like, it's not revolutionary. It's not the difference between going from 8 graphic execution units, whatever graphic cores, whatever Apple calls them, to 32 graphic cores. Absolutely. Like, I can do so much on that M1 Mac with the M1 Max chip than I could on the original M1. But that's different question, different conversation for a different day. In conclusion, yes. We're almost done. Actually, I'm just gonna shut it off right now. Yes. So in conclusion, once again, thank you very much for watching. See, you know what I'm gonna say. Please download Firefox. Please don't use Chrome. And please wear at least one mask. Don't wear a single layer mask. Please get your booster shots. If you haven't gotten your first shot yet, I don't know, bro, get yourself Darkwing out. Like, at this point, I can't. It's just, yeah. No. I'm fairly certain everyone in the server has had 2 shots. Can we have a show of hands of people who don't have 2 shots? Actually, I like I use Apple devices and I still use Firefox. I don't actually like Safari that much. Safari is fine, but WebKit on Firefox does just as well. Like, I guess it depends on where you're going on the internet, right? Like, the places that I go on the internet are fairly benign. Like, my favorite websites are things like Bloomberg and Economist. I read the SCMP. In terms of energy efficiency, at this point with the M1 chips, it's like I'm not even going to bother looking at battery figures, because it's fine either way. So, but Safari, the problem with Safari is or not the problem, but the issue with Safari that I have with Safari is that it's so integrated into your iCloud account. And that just makes it a little bit yucky. And I know you can turn it off and all of that. Anyway, all of that aside, we're done. I do need to go. I do need to nap soon-ish. Yeah, we're good. No more questions. What? Oh, right. I did want to say, yeah, I'm sorry for once again. Actually, no. I didn't waste your time today. Today was 50 minutes of wonderfully important and all around useful information that everybody will appreciate and nobody will hate me for. Okay, bye now.